Session 3 in Photoshop for the apps class will be about extracting things from one image and putting it into another. And let me show you what we're going to be working on. This is what you would call a composite image. These four doctors that you see here were originally in different pictures, and I had to extract them out of their original pictures and put them into this combined picture where you see all four of them together. And there's a particular tool that we're going to use that I want you to kind of get used to a little bit. And again, we're going to use it later on a bigger project. Now, let me hide Photoshop here for a minute, if I may, and I will pull this up. If you go to Drive L on our courses drive inside the assignments folder and look inside the folder for this particular assignment, you'll see this PDF right here that says 003 Extract. I'm going to open that up, and here's what we got. This is a 40 pointer. Points are up a little bit this time because there's a little bit more work, but it's not terrible. Here's everything that's going to be a part of this. We're going to use this quick selection tool to extract people from their background and add them into a new document. So you'll have to set up this new document. We're going to do that the same way that we've done all the others, the web preset and 800 by 600, and we'll fill the background layer with something. I'll show you how to use the gradient tool if you want to do that. The doctor images are on Drive L inside the assignments folder for this project. There's four doctors. All right, and then I've got instructions here for how to extract these doctors out of their background. Okay, and you can also add effects. You can copy them, paste them, add effects. I'll show you all of that as a part of this movie. And saving. You just got to save on your network drive. I recommend the file name extract and then drag and drop into your turn in folder on Drive L. All right, let's go to work on this. I've already got Photoshop running, as you know, and here's my kind of finished copy of this. So what I would do to get started, and obviously you'll need to start Photoshop first, but what I would do to get started is click File, click New. I'm going to use the web preset 800 by 600. I'll click OK. That starts me off with a new document. Now I'm going to use the gradient tool. The gradient tool is about halfway down the toolbar. And when you click on the gradient tool, if you'll look up on the control panel or the options bar, there will be some gradients up here that you can choose from. You can use any of these that you might like. And if you might not see this many. If you don't see this many and you want to see more gradients, look carefully for this little thing that looks like a gear or a sprocket. Click there. And then these designations right here, like simple, pastels, neutral density, these are all gradients that you can add to this collection. For example, if I want special effects, I could click that and I could click append on this little dialog box right here, and then they get added to the end of the menu up here. So you can use any of these that you would like. It doesn't really matter all that much what you use. In fact, I'll use this kind of green and black thing that you saw in my demo. All right, so I'm going to pick that one. Now you also, right next door to the gradient that you pick, you have options here for a linear gradient, a radial gradient, this works kind of like hands on a clock. It goes around, and I can't remember what they call it in Photoshop, but an angle gradient, a reflected gradient, and this last one, let's see what the pop-up tells us here. It is a diamond gradient. All right, I'm going to use linear, but you could use any of those styles that you wish to use. All right, so I'm just going to kind of drag this from the bottom to the top like that. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do Control Z, and I'm going to drag it from the top to the bottom instead of... There we go. I like that better with the dark at the bottom and the light at the top. It's just the way I like it. Okay. All right, so you could also do edit and fill something up that way. All right, so let's go to work on these doctors here. Now you have to do all four, but you might not need to watch me do all four. If I click File and click Open, and you would go to the Courses Drive and look inside the folder for this assignment. I've got a folder here on my Mac and you'll just see 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And you don't have to do, you only have to do 4. There's 5 of them here. You only have to do 4. So I'll just start off with this guy right here. I'm going to open him up. All right, now I'm going to zoom up on him some. Control plus to zoom up. All right. Now over here on the toolbar, the fourth tool down, if you click and hold, you'll see it's actually Two different things here. It's the magic wand tool and the quick selection tool, but I want the quick selection tool. I'm going to use that. And I'm going to try to keep this very simple. Now, my quick selection brush looks really big, so if you look on your keyboard, right next to the letter P on your keyboard, there's a left bracket, and then the next key over is a right bracket. You can make your brush a little bit smaller by tapping left bracket, a little bit bigger by tapping right bracket, and here's what we want to do. I want to take this and just kind of paint around. I'm just clicking and just kind of painting right around the part that I want. Now these guys are all on a nice white background, so it should be pretty reasonably easy to just kind of paint around, and it makes a nice selection around the doctor. Looks pretty good. Not seeing any problems with that. Now you can do this, and this can kind of help a little bit. If you go to the select menu and tell it you want to modify it and you're going to feather it just a little bit, that's not a bad thing. So I'm going to go to modify and feather, but I'm only going to do it by about 2 or 3 pixels. I'll just do 2 pixels. It's not going to make a big difference, but it's going to make a little smoother edge around this selection. Okay, now got a good selection. I feathered it. So the rest of it is copy and paste. I want to copy what I have selected. I can do that with Edit, Copy, or Control C. Then I want to go back over to this background that I made where I had this gradient. And remember that Photoshop works with tabbed documents up here. If you open more than one thing at a time, you can click the tabs up here to get to the document that you want to work on. All right, so I want to work on this one right here. I just copied this doctor from right here. So I'll go over here and I'm going to paste him, Edit, Paste, or Control V. And he shows up there. Looking pretty good. Now if you look over here on the right on the layer panel, when I pasted it automatically put him on a separate layer above the background. Now it might be nice to resize him a little bit, and the trick there is Control T on the keyboard. Use the handles to resize as desired, move it around as desired. And remember, you have to commit to these transformations by either pressing enter or double clicking in here. I'll just press enter. Now you can also do this. I like to add like an effect on it. So I'm going to do an outer glow, and I'll not do too much with this outer glow. I'm just going to tweak the size and the spread of it just a little bit to make him kind of glow around the edges. All right, that's a little bit too much. All right, looks pretty good. So I'll click OK there. Good. All right, now this is going to be the same thing with other doctors, and I want you to do 4 of them. Again, I'm not sure you need to watch me do 4 of them. So I'll click File and Open. I'll go get another doctor. Okay, here I am in this folder of doctors. Remember, they're on Drive-L. And I'll get, we'll just go with this one. Okay, again, going to do Control Plus on the keyboard to zoom up a little bit. I'm going to use that quick selection tool right over here, quick selection, and I'll just begin painting. I just kind of rub this selection tool right over the top of what I want. Not too bad, not too shabby. Photoshop's doing a decent job. Now, here's one thing that you can run into. This little gap underneath her arm right here, and I'll zoom in on this real tight. This little white spot between the clipboard and her elbow and her side, that really shouldn't be a part of this selection. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make the brush smaller by tapping the left bracket, and I'm going to hold down the Alt key. And if I paint over that white part, if I just kind of click in there and paint over that white part, click in there and drag a little bit, while I'm holding the Alt key, it takes that part of it out of the selection. So that's good. All right, that looks pretty good. I see a little bit of the clipboard that I'm not sure I got here, but you know what? I'm not going to be that picky. I think that looks really pretty good. So I'll do a Control minus here to zoom out a little bit, and I'm going to kind of inspect my selection here. It doesn't look bad at all. I think I will go to Select, Modify, Feather. I'm just going to do it by 2 pixels again. That just smooths it out a little bit is all it does. Now I've got a nice selection around her, so I'll do a copy, Control C or Edit Copy. I'll go back over here to my background that I'm working with, and I'll paste it, Control V. And to size her, move her around, it's Control T on the keyboard. That gives me those handles, and I can kind of lay her in here and stretch her up to be whatever size I want. Double click or press enter there, and I think I will go ahead and give her a little bit of an outer glow. I just like that glow effect. Doesn't have to be real dramatic, but like if you were creating an ad for a hospital, yeah, that's kind of a cool look right there. It looks pretty good. All right. Now you can use this move tool, the very top tool up here, if you decide, I want to move these guys around a little bit, you can do that. All right, so maybe one more. I'll file, open, and we'll get one of these other doctors. All right, zoom in on that some. Now this one will be a little bit more challenging because she's got a white lab coat. So the quick selection tool will have a little bit tougher time determining like right where the edge of that lab coat is. But if you go kind of slow, take your time, and you paint kind of right along the edge. Now I can see I ran into a problem here that I'm going to have to fix, but it's okay. I'll show you how to do it. Now this actually is selecting too much, so I'm going to have to take that Alt key here and kind of work around her head, and you know, some of this, if you hold the Alt key, it tries to take away what is selected. So hopefully I can go down right by her lab coat. That looks pretty good. Doing the same thing on the other side, holding the Alt key, and I'm not painting on top of her, I'm painting around outside of her because I want to take these white areas out of the selection. Sometimes you got to take your time, and sometimes it takes a little practice, and sometimes you got to do it more than once. Now here's something to watch for. This looks pretty good, except her stethoscope in here, or whatever the official name of that is, did not get selected. So you want to make sure that you watch carefully here for little areas that don't get selected that you mean to select, like her pen right here. If I zoom in on that, her blue pen's not selected. Okay, got to paint over that and get that selected. All right, sometimes zooming in and looking real close is not a bad idea. All right, I'll get Control minus here. I'm going to go ahead and feather that a little bit. Select, modify, feather. Just 2 pixels is enough. Copy it. Back over here to my background that I'm working with. Paste it. Do Control T. Press enter or double click, and I'll give her an outer glow effect. Looking pretty good. All right, so you're getting the idea. Move these guys around just a little bit. And I would need to do one more to finish the assignment, but I think hopefully you're seeing the process that's involved. When you get it all done, you would click File, click Save As, and you would get to your network drive, save it there. Extract is a good file name, EXTRACT, and then you would drag it and drop it into your Turn In folder. All right, let's try that one out. Time for you to give it a shot.